What's going on YouTube? On to the Man City episode of this Transfer Talk series, and it's an absolutely fantastic team. When you look at it on paper, it is absolutely ridiculous. Throughout the team, you look on the bench and you got absolute quality throughout. Sanya is still one of the best right backs in the league, only being kept out by probably the best, if not second best in the league, Zabaleta. Plenty of quality in the midfield areas. Fernando, Frank Lampard, who's been massive since he came in. James Milner can play wide. But the thing that I think is his biggest strength is the strength of his spine and the team. Joe Hart's come and had a pretty good season so far. He started it well. Probably the best centre-back in the world, in my opinion, who is your captain. He's an absolutely fantastic leader. He's quick across the ground. He's physical. I think this guy's got everything, and he's just such an example to all the other players. He's so professional. He comes out and does interviews. He doesn't talk rubbish either. He's very profound when he speaks. I remember him on Match for the Day. I think towards the end of last season, he was very dignified when he spoke about his title contenders. I think it was Liverpool at the time, and a real top class defender. Only problem is, can you keep him fit for the whole season? That has been the only thing that's held him back from City. But I think on his day and consistently when he does play, although there is a mistake in him, he's the best centre back in the world. That is my honest opinion. Then you've got this guy here, Yaya Toure, who is absolutely phenomenal. He's just got everything, He's got the technical ability to take a free kick. He takes your penalties. Probably the quickest over about 80 yards in world football. He's got an absolute bullet of a shot. He can head. He can defend. He has got everything. I did think he was slowing down a little bit towards the start of the season. He's 30 plus now, but he's come back and shown that he can score very important goals, and he's still a massive player for Man City. They're certainly going to miss him whilst he's away and has been away. He's a massive player. Then you've got this little guy up front who has been absolutely phenomenal. One of the best strikers in the world at the moment. Again, it's just whether Man City can keep him fit for long enough. It does seem to take him a couple of weeks after an injury to get back to his brilliant best, but when he is there, other than height, he's got everything. He can still head with a ball. He's absolutely lightning. His dribbling skills are ridiculous. He shot the goal against Sunderland. Oh my, wow, just the power that he can generate. And he's got that low centre of gravity, weaving in and out of players, and he must be an absolute nightmare for the centre back because he really does work hard when he's up there on his own. He can turn a game on his head no matter who the opposition. We saw that against Bayern Munich when he's got his hat-trick. Admittedly, he might have been a little bit lucky on that night, but still there, and the class to do that and to be able to provide that for your team is world class. And then on to, in my opinion, David Silva, who is your best player. He really is. I think there's probably maybe 5 to 10 players in world football who just have a brain, the likes of Lionel Messi and Iniesta, and who are just absolutely magic when they touch a football. You've got the Aguero with the athleticism and the pace and the power in the shots, and maybe more of an impact in terms of driving forward, and maybe if you needed a goal in the last minute, he was going to go and get it. But to affect a game like this guy can. He's only a small player, but his dribbling skills, his passing, the best way to pass that I've probably ever seen on a footballer. He's just awareness, and it is his brain that enables him to do everything. I'm not saying he's wasted out on the left hand side, because he can still play there. I think he has been a little bit of a easy target, maybe to accommodate Yaya Toure, and let him push forward more than he has to. Allow Yaya Toure to push forward rather than him sitting back and being more of a defensive work. But I think Silva needs to play in the hole behind Aguero. Man City have been criticised a little bit for not playing 3 in the midfield, particularly when they've played in Europe. But for me, it's easy for them to do. Whether they don't do it because of maybe defensive work, the defensive work of Silva, whether he's capable of dropping him, or not. I'm not too sure, but for that, to me, that looks like a much better team, much well balanced. I think Silva in behind Aguero is something that just spells danger for the opposition. You got Yaya Toure as well, who City have done one thing since they've got a lot of money. Since they've got the money, and that is score a lot of goals. And I think the reason they've been able to do that so effectively is because for the majority of the time they've been able to play two up front. The reason they've had to play two up front is because they don't need three players in the midfield, and he is the reason for it, because he absolutely dominates players. He's worth two in that middle, so no one's going to overpower Yaya Toure. Then when you've got a Fernando and a Fernandinho or alongside him, it just gives even more stability. Then you've got company coming up from the back. He's a very, very good, talented side, full of quality. But as I said, I mentioned a little bit earlier about Yaya Toure, and maybe he's getting on a little bit. The probably other player in world football who I could think could do that job would be Paul Pogba. Now, there's been a lot of talk about him going from clubs in the Premier League linked with him: Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City. I think if City wanted to go and get him, they could quite easily supply Juventus with the 70 million plus asking price. And he would come in as a January signing. He would just take this League White Storm. I really think that he's only young as well. I think 21 or 22 years of age. I believe he's 21, turning 22. He's very, very similar to Yaya Toure. He's got everything the boy has. He's quick. He's very, very physical. He can defend. He can dribble. He can shoot. He can pass. And if Man City were to get him, I think they could really push Chelsea for the title this season. With outgoings, I think Jovetic has got to go. He's been there for a little while now, and he hasn't hit the ground running. There is talk of maybe Juventus wanting him as well. So if Pogba did come to the Etihad, maybe he could go the other way. I think Scott Sinclair's got to go. There's been revived talks with Aston Villa, I believe. So maybe he's another one that just needs to go out of the squad. Of course, you've already brought Wilfried Bony in this transfer window, which was a little bit of a strange signing for me. You know, you paid quite a lot of money for him from Swansea, and he's a good player, but he's getting on a little bit. So he hasn't been bought for the future. He's definitely been bought to make an impact now and potentially on this season, maybe next. Whether he's going to start every game, whether we'll start with Aguero, I'm not too sure. That's why I think it's a little bit of a strange signing. If they went and signed someone a bit younger, and then he could come in and maybe get 10 goals a season or 15 goals a season, and then develop into a world-class player, I think that might have been a more sensible option. But they've gone with the tried and trusted Bonnie, who's shown he can do it in the Premier League. But as I say, he's not one for the future. They're going to get 2 or 3 seasons out in max at the level he's playing at now, and I don't think he's going to get any better. And I don't think I would class him as world class, which is what Man City need, really. But yeah, he's not a bad sign. I'm not knocking it. They did need a striker in. And if Jovetic did go the other way, I think maybe one more, just for the firepower up front, would be necessary, especially with playing in Europe. And you don't know whether you're going to keep Aguero fit all the time. And someone I would look at is maybe Alexandre Lacazette, who's had an absolutely fantastic season for Lyon. Again, he's only a young boy. I think he's 23 years of age or something like that, and he's been phenomenal. He's only little, but he's got pace and he can shoot very, very well. He's another one that could potentially play in the whole alongside Aguero or even a Dzeko or Bonny. It might not be a bad partnership, him and Bonny, you know, Lacazette just playing off him with the pace, and Bonny, you can hold the ball up very well. So yeah, they're the signings I'd make. You might be looking at something towards £100 million for the pair of them, but I think if City did that, they could really push Chelsea for the title and even kick on in the Champions League, which is something that you've been looking at trying to do for seasons and seasons now, and it hasn't really materialised for you. You got a tough draw again with Barca in the round of 16. So what do you want as Manchester City fans? Do you want to be pushing Chelsea for the league? You know, we've talked about how good Chelsea are all season, yet you're only 5 points off them still. or do you really want to push for this Champions League now and try and progress to the quarter-final, semi-final stages, and even try and get to the final itself and win it? You've definitely got the quality to try and do that. So yeah, let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this video and agree with the majority of what I said, please drop it a like. I really would appreciate it. And obviously, I'll be coming back with a new video quickly. I'm going to try and get a couple up tomorrow just to get them done before the 2nd of February. And it's Manchester United next. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.